Time for Game Time Live, presented by Verizon. Larry Michael, Andrew Walker. The site is M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore as the Ravens and Redskins are about to kick off preseason game number 3. Now, after this game, the Redskins have to get down to 75 players. One final preseason game left. That's coming up Thursday next week at Tampa. Then the final cut to 53. And Andrew Walker, Robert Griffin III, and the wide receivers warming up here. The rain has ended, raining all day, but somehow it's like it's going to be a pretty decent track here tonight.
Yeah, the trip up I-95 was pretty testy there. It was pouring pretty much the whole time, but yeah, it looks like it's let up and should be pretty good conditions. I mean, temperature's great. These guys look like they're ready to go.
And we're right on the field. This is where you get this broadcast each week, right at Redskins.com. Redskins Game Time Live, presented by Verizon. The wide receivers coming our way. And as we've talked about all week, Andrew, Jay Gruden told me after the last preseason game, I asked him about how long the starters would go. He says certainly the first half, maybe the second half, depending on how it goes. And he's stuck to that rep all week.
Yeah, sometimes the protocol for that third game is the starters will go a half in this game and then maybe a series in that second half, just so they can get used to making a halftime adjustment or two. So it'll be interesting to see. I wouldn't be surprised if they're playing really well for that first half, maybe it's not worth the injury risk to bring them out that second half. But if they want to get more out of it or make more adjustments after halftime, certainly they could be out here for that second half.
Of course, the Redskins have had some fierce competition. The battles have been really strong in a lot of different positions. The running back position, the wide receiver position, a lot of competition there. The offensive line. Let's look at the offense first before we talk defense, as the offense is on the field warming up. What are you looking for tonight? The starting offense hasn't gotten in the end, so I'm going to move the ball in the first two preseason games. And again, you can take these preseason stats and file them away as soon as it's over. It's all about the evaluation of the roster at this point. What are you looking for from the Redskins offense tonight, however?
Well, if we're talking first-team offense, I'm really looking at Pierre Garçon in this game. Last game, that was probably by design of the defense. But it seems like he's bound to get a few catches in this game to get him going. And Deshaun Jackson, that long pass over the top, that short route, and take it, with a lot of yards after catch. So I'm interested in seeing those two. Those are the headliners. But other than that, run game, Alfred Morris, Roy Halou, all those guys just looking to get those final reps because they likely won't play against Tampa Bay.
Larry Michael, Andrew Walker, Game Time Live, presented by Verizon. And for the first time in the preseason, we're going to see Jason Hatcher, the defensive lineman out of Grambling, the longtime Dallas Cowboy. And there we have a shot at him warming up here before the game. Hey, there's Nicholas Sundberg. Nick Sundberg coming by to say hello to his many friends. But Jason Hatcher, if it had been a regular season, Andrew, I think this scope that he had wouldn't have kept him out even a game because he's that much of a baller. But what does he bring to the Redskins defense? And I guess he's going to go the whole first half tonight. So you got Baker, Cofield, and Hatcher. You're starting to line together for the first time.
Yeah, he said in practice this week he really was able to test that knee, and everything went fine. He said, he's going pound for pound with 300-pounders, and he was able to push his weight around. With him, I say he's a cookie under 300 pounds, but he doesn't look like it. He's just built very well. Redskins are hoping he can build and be even more of a presence with the pass rush, but also against the run.
We're counting you down to kickoff here. Kickoff at 7:30 tonight here in Baltimore as the Redskins and Ravens square off. The Ravens have the all-time lead in terms of this preseason series, and they lead the regular season series 3 wins, 2 losses in the last game in the regular season between these two teams. December of 2012, game Robert Griffin III got hurt when he ran into Haloti Ngata, trying to get a shot of D'Angelo Hall on the far side. We're going to talk about him in a second, but last time these two teams faced each other, it was that fateful night. The Redskins won. Richard Crawford had the big punt return. And there is D'Angelo Hall, who yesterday was named the Redskins Defensive Player of the Year for 2013. I thought that was a pretty good pick.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you couldn't go wrong with a guy that had 3 defensive touchdowns and a guy that, that was a Redskins record for a season, 3 defensive touchdowns. And, for a defense that had its ups and downs, and anytime you go 3-13, you're going to have probably more downs than ups. He's certainly turned in a career year, and at 30, he's not slowing down at all.
No doubt about that. And as always, D'Angelo Hall sporting the unique warm-ups. This is one of the things he does. Got the headphones on and the unique warm-ups as the Redskins warm up here. And both these two teams 2-0 in the preseason. That doesn't mean anything other than they've won those games. And last week, hey, maybe should have gone into overtime. Good decision by the Browns head coach to go for 2 at the end of that one. But with Jay Gruden, these preseason games, I would think, Andrew, have special meaning because it's first time as a head coach. Every little aspect of coaching a game, he could use a little practice as the head coach, and he stood up well so far after 2 games.
Yeah, and he hasn't been shy in his press conferences telling everybody, hey, look, that first game at FedEx Field, I didn't like how we stretched pregame, so we're going to change that up. He's just changing his technique as a head coach. He's learned from several good coaches in his past. So, it's really something with Jay Gruden where he has a bright future as a head coach. He's very liked by his players, his coaches. So, with him, these preseason games are for him too. So he's really just fine-tuning everything that he needs to do to get ready for a game.
Lake Seastrunk is at the game. He is to our left wearing the gray hat, and our condolences to his family. He lost his grandmother and made the trip to Texas and got back here in time for this ball game. And for the running back core, I saw Chris Thompson warming up before the game. He looked great. As we do this edition of Verizon Gametime Live, we do not have the word on Chris Thompson. You have the word? Royster last game also, Andrew, stepped up, so it's getting more interesting by the day. And a big game by Seastrunk. Who knows what that could mean for that young man, a guy with a lot of explosiveness, but very little experience. Evan Royster, a lot of experience. Then after that, Redskins going to take a day off. Redskins rides happening at Redskins Park on Sunday, presented by Easterns, a tradition at Redskins Park. As you see all those classic cars going to be trotted out. Then back to the practice field on Monday, then a game on Thursday. Very short turnaround, Andrew.
Yeah, but it's good practice because they have a Thursday night game here. Good practice to. I know the guys are looking forward to, first year, you shake off kind of the cobwebs of getting on the plane, going to the hotel, doing the walkthroughs, all that stuff. So I know they're looking forward to kind of getting that out of the way on Thursday.
Our thanks to Andrew Walker from Redskins.com. He does an outstanding job. I urge you to check out his work. And here to give us his unique perspective on preseason game number 3 is our good friend Chris Russell. So, Russell, we got a couple minutes left in the show. What are your thoughts here as it's almost time to kick it off, preseason game number 3?
Well, I'm glad to see the rain has kind of tapered off, Larry. I mean, at least as we sit here at Nap, I was watching Chris Thompson do a lot of pregame cutting and different stuff with Ray Wright. He's not going to go tonight, but hopefully if he stays healthy, he'll be able to play in Tampa on Thursday. I think obviously it's a big game for the place kickers. We know that. It's a big game, I think, for Ben Kotwica's kickoff coverage unit, I should say, because DeAndre Thompson had that big 108-yard kickoff return last week against Dallas. He's been very good in that role so far through 2 games. I'd like to see the Redskins' improved special teams unit kind of defend him and keep him under wraps. And obviously, I want to see Robert continue tonight.
What do you think that hinges on, the number of plays or the efficiency they show?
I think both. If they run 40 plays in the first half, which seems unlikely, you're probably not going to see it. To me, if I'm Jay, no matter what happens in the first half, they're coming back out for a series in the second half. I want my team to get used to whatever adjustments we're going to make in the locker room and to kind of get your body ramped up again like you would after a 12-30 day. I'm definitely doing it regardless, but clearly everything is kind of situational.
Thank you, buddy. We'll listen to your halftime report, and we'll listen to you during the week as well on ESPN 980.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Chris Russell, sorry, Alex Diamond, a little bump of Alex Diamond, and we'll just give you a little feel for the atmosphere here before we say goodbye. There's the pass to Andre Roberts. We saw that connection from RG3 and Andre Roberts in the preseason game against the Cleveland Browns last time out. And that's going to do it for this edition of Gametime Live presented by Verizon. For the entire crew, kickoff at 7:30, and we'll see you next time.